What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Hope you're all staying safe, all that good stuff. I have been deemed what is apparently titled an essential employee at an essential business, so I am headed to work here in a little bit. I hope all of you that are distancing yourself through either personal choice or no choice of your own, I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, all that type stuff. Hopefully, we get through this in the very near future, and we can put this stuff behind us and move on to some type of normalcy in life. What I'm going to be showing you guys today is a stack of CDs that I got in from an eBay seller. I've mentioned them on this channel before. The eBay screen name they use is Jagger Jones. That's the account name. I think the guy that runs its name is Brian. As I said, I purchased from him before. He always has some pretty good obscure stuff that I'm looking for and looking to add to the collection. He also, if you message him and let him know that there's several that you're looking at that you're bidding on, he will combine shipping once the auctions are over. He's always done me pretty good on the shipping prices, never tried to take advantage of me or anything in that aspect. So I will link up his his eBay in the description. Definitely go check that out. He has some auctions going right now. He may have some like I said, just some obscure stuff that you've been looking for and meaning to add to your collection. What I'm going to be showing today is mostly black metal, death metal, and doom metal. Well, actually, pretty much all of it, I think, is that. Just going to get right into this. As I said, I have to go to work here very shortly, so I want to just kind of hammer this out. I meant to do this video yesterday, didn't work out, so we're going to try to get this through this today and get some content out for you guys. First up, we have some black and death metal. This is leaning heavier on the blackened side of things from San Francisco. I believe this came out in 2013 on Nuclear War Now Records. This is set with Upheaval of Unholy Darkness. This is the only full length, sadly, from this project, and I believe this is criminally overlooked and underrated. This is just phenomenal black and death metal. The way that they are able to layer the soundscapes and layer the mix on this, it creates this almost like bone chilling evil vibe going on throughout this entire release. It is just very occult, dark, evil stuff, and they are able to capture those soundscapes perfectly. If you haven't checked this out, definitely do yourself a favor. If you're into any type of black metal or death metal, I highly, highly recommend you checking Set out. As I said, that's their only full length. They had a little bit of demo work before that. I believe they're split up now, so there won't be any new albums, but that is an album that I believe is essential. If you have any type of collection, you should have that in there. Next up is one that probably one of the two that I'm going to show today that has the absolute worst artwork. I think this should have never been released as it was with this artwork because there's no way you guys are going to be able to see the artwork. I'm going to show it. There's no way you're going to be able to pick this up. This is Cremation. It's got the dark gray background with the black artwork. As I said, there's no way you're going to be able to see this. So this Cremation with Black Death Cult. This was also released on Nuclear War Now. I believe this was released in 2009. What this is a collection of demos from Cremation that were all recorded in the 90s. It's got 3 of the band's 4 demos. The band never released any full lengths or anything. But 3 of their 4 demos are on this. The 4th was left out on purpose. I guess it was felt like it was not up to par with the other 3 demo works. Pretty good stuff. Just Canadian death metal, 90s Canadian death metal. Has a bit of inconsistency on the vocals on this. Sometimes the vocals can be a little bit off-putting, taking it back. Doesn't really mesh well as a whole, just for the simple fact that there are separate vocalists on each of those demos. So there's going to be variations going on with that throughout that album. So just kind of keep that in mind if it's something that you want to check out. I'm going to try to make a list of all of these in the order that I'll show them. That way, if you see something you want to check out, hopefully you can find it. At least I can start the legwork for you and get you going in the right direction to check some of this stuff out. Next up, we have some black metal out of Mexico. This is kind of ambient type black metal. There's quite a bit of ambient and atmospheric black metal coming from Mexico. This one is from Mexico City that kind of leans towards the more melodic type of atmospheric black metal. This is definitely not the case on this one. This one tends to focus more. It uses like black and noise vibes to create atmospheres and that type stuff. Has a very low production, lo-fi, old school black metal type feel, almost the basement black metal feel, but it's actually performed, I guess, very well. It's like a catch 22. If you hadn't heard this before and you just heard it, you would think that it was something much older than what it is. And the fact that they're able to catch that vibe with some fresh ideas is actually pretty genius. So it's not a bad release if you're into that kind of noisy uh, black metal type stuff. Then you might enjoy that. So definitely check that out. The next three that I'm going to show are all either EPs or demos. They came in these little plastic sleeves. The first one I'm going to show is Burial Mist, and the name of that is in a language that I cannot pronounce. Oshubho, Ahobaan. Yeah, no way I'm going to be able to get that right. This is the only release from this project. It was released in 2016. There's the actual disc. It's just this little fold out. I need to get a little jewel case and put this in there. This is black metal. Has some it's pretty interesting. It's like old school black metal, but it has old school death metal vibes going on in it as well. I'm interested to hear more from this project. I hope they release some more stuff in the material because I'd like to see kind of where they go with that sound that they have going there. It's out of Bangladesh of all places, but it's pretty good stuff there from Burial Mist. Next up is one that's probably one of my favorite releases that I picked up out of this whole stack. It's only about 17 minutes in length. It is the only um, demo or EP or anything from this project. It is Malignament is the name of the project. It looks like blood splatter going on the front and the back of that. Is pretty gnarly looking stuff there. This was released last year out of Finland. So I said this only runs about 17 minutes, but the brevity of this release is absolutely perfect. I mean, it is a genius. The way that they did this is just a genius release. It makes you crave hearing more from Malignament. Definitely makes you want to hear them expand on some of the sounds that they bring to the table on this. It has, I think, two tracks, and both of them have their own identity. And they start doing stuff in this that you just crave more. And it has that almost a melodic black metal vibe going on at times in this, but it's such good stuff. Definitely hoping to hear more from Malignament in the future. Definitely check that one out if you have not done so. Next up, another demo. This one is, I guess, an EP, and it's another that's just on a CDR, just a plain verbatim CDR. This is depressive black metal. This is Heights of Despair with their 2017 EP. Existence is our exile and nothingness our home. The actual title uh, feels longer than the actual release. Pretty good if you're into depressive black metal. I mean, it's very much so depressive black metal. I like this one. I like this little EP. I think I enjoy their uh, their full length. They had a full length came out. Uh, See, I wrote it down just because it also has uh, a long name. The name of their most recent full length is On the Heights of Despair. Definitely check that out. I enjoy that release a little bit more than this EP, but this EP was pretty good as well. Next up, we have some technical death metal. This is Pyrrhon, I believe that's how you pronounce that, with What Passes for Survival. Another 2017 release. This is, as I said, technical death metal out of New York. Man, this is just unpredictable, I guess is a good word for this. Bludgeoning, just unpredictable, bludgeoning, intelligent, technical death metal. That make any sense to you whatsoever? Definitely check if you're into technical death metal. I highly, you probably already have heard of this band. You've probably already heard this album. You also will probably speak the praises of this album because it is that good. If you have not done so and you're into technical death metal, definitely check out What Passes for Survival. Fantastic stuff out of 2017. They haven't released anything else new. This makes me want to hear more from that band. They have some previous releases that are out as well, but that is probably, in my opinion, the strongest material that they have out to date. Next up, we have some material out of France. This is Vorkreist with Sickness Sovereign. This came out in 2019. um, on Trendkill Recordings. Did I say 2019, 2009? I'm sorry. I'm off my game here today. This is more black and death metal, but mainly I want to say black metal, but it has some death metal going on in this at times. First half of this album is pretty well flawless, and it kind of falls off after that first half for me. But the first half, if they could have kept that feeling going for the entire album, this would probably be one of my favorite releases in my collection as a whole. Because the first part of this album is that good, just fantastic black and death metal out of France. Next up, this is the other album that I was speaking of earlier that had just the terrible, terrible artwork. You're not going to be able to make this out. You might be able to fight the glare and all that type of stuff. It has that gray and black sound uh, art scheme going on there. This is a Lykhaeon, I believe is how you pronounce that, with ominous eradication of anguished souls. This was released in 2018. This is another just EP. This is black metal out of Switzerland. Just kind of cavernous, chaotic black metal. Has some trance-like atmospheres going on. This almost ritualistic type stuff. Fairly good stuff. I did enjoy this. It's something that I'm going to have to spend a little bit more time. Do not like the artwork. I wish they'd had a little bit of better artwork for me to show you guys. Next up, we have some death metal slash grindcore out of Brazil. This is Hutt with Sessao Descarrego. Yeah, sorry about that. As I said, death metal grindcore out of Brazil. This is the first full length that this band ever released. This came out in 2004. I'm wanting to say on Grindhead Recordings. Pretty good stuff. One of the weaker releases that they ever did, with it being their first, but you can definitely tell the direction that this band was going at the time. Definitely solid material and definitely a solid piece to add to any collection. So if you're in a death metal or grindcore, then I think you would enjoy Hutt. Definitely check that out. It's pretty chaotic stuff. The next two releases that I'm going to show are both from this band out of the Netherlands. They're both from the same band. This is Anarchos, death metal out of Netherlands. The first one is their 2014 EP, Descent into the Maelstrom. This one is pretty good. It's has a like a nostalgic death vibe going on with the death metal. It has kind of that old school feel. The EP here is pretty good. They don't elaborate into the sounds just too much. I think the brevity on that one actually hurt that release. But the following full length from that Invocation of Moribund Spirits is phenomenal. It's a kind of a like they started the ideas, I would say, with that EP, and then they were able to develop their sound a little bit more onto this full length, and this full length is phenomenal. It has some kind of doomy passages going on this one that I think the fact that they had a little bit more time to kind of elaborate on their sound and that type stuff definitely worked in their favor with this release. It has more of the doomy type stuff, and for me, that's what I think I prefer their more doomier sound as opposed to the just straightforward death metal sound that they have going. When they're able to capture some of that doom death stuff going on, I think is when they're at their strongest. And but the solid release here. I definitely sing the praises of this one. The EP is something that I will revisit sometimes when I'm in the mood for that type death metal. But that full length is just fantastic stuff. The next one is one that's just chaos. It's psychedelic. It's all over the place. This is Drug Honkey with Hail Satan. It's experimental psychedelic death doom metal. I mean, how many genre tags can you put in one release? It is definitely the weakest album from Drug Honky. This is the reissue that came out in 2017. This was, I think, originally released in 2005. This is the 2017 reissue. Uh, as I said, it's probably one of the weaker releases from their entire discography. but you get a general sense of where this band is going just from this release. It makes you respect where they went a lot more having heard this album. I definitely wanted this just for the history sake of the album, and I think it makes a fantastic piece to the collection here. So this is Drug Honky with Hail Satan. Next up, we have some doom metal. This is actually released on Relapse Records. This is Usnea with Portals into Futility. This is Portland. Man, Portland. I say stuff about Portland almost every video now when I'm talking about some U.S. metal. Portland is just a hotbed right now for heavy metal. This is Blackened Funeral Doom. I want to say it has some death metal stuff going on this. Calling it Blackened Funeral Doom has a bit of a it doesn't feel that way to me. It has more of a death doom vibe going on sometimes, but it definitely has a funeral doom vibe going, and there are blackened aspects as well. But it draws in kind of the best for me sounds from those specific genres. Is able to mesh them well, mesh them in a pretty well in together. If that makes any sense. I know I'm struggling with words today. I'm kind of in a rush, so sorry. But anyway, Usnea with Portals into Futility. It's got 5 songs, a little bit right at an hour, I think, runtime on this, and it keeps your attention despite that. Even have some funeral doom and some slower doom type stuff kind of can lose your interest after a while. This does not fall guilty to that. It definitely keeps you enthralled through the entirety. So just got a message that my battery's about to go dead. Hopefully we can knock this out before the battery on the laptop goes. Next up we have Beldam with Pasung. This is sludge doom out of Seattle. Slow plotting depression. That's the only way I know to put this. Fantastic stuff. If you feel like being depressed, you're in a mood for some slow plotting depressive sludge, then check out Beldam. Fantastic stuff. Then last but not least, we have more sludge. This is Body Void with You Will Know the Fear You Forced upon Us. This is a kind of anti-fascist Bay Area sludge, 2 tracks EP. I try to separate the idealisms in bands. I'm not a big Antifa fan. Not a big fan of NS ideologies either. I try to separate politics from music, but I will say the music on this is very solid stuff. Definitely check that out. Fantastic Bay Area sludge going on right there. That's all I've got for today. I'm going to try to get this cut off. Hopefully, I don't have too much lag with the battery about going dead. Hope you guys stay safe, stay classy, stay metal, and I will see you all, God willing, I will see you all very, very, very soon. I promise.